So, good afternoon, all the students who have participated in this lecture. My name is Ahmed Sheikh, and we'll starting with chapter number 1, matter in our surrounding. In this lesson, we'll be learning about the particles which are surrounded by us, and we'll be talking about different properties these particles exhibit. Not only talking about these properties, but also we'll be going through few experiments through which we can understand those properties of particles very well. In this chapter we'll be also learning about different states of matter, that is solid, liquid and gas, which are present in room temperature, and not only about its physical properties, but also we'll be learning about different characteristics property of the state of matter as well. Okay, at the end of the chapter we'll be learning about how can a substance which is in a particular state of matter can be converted into a state of matter by applying energy or removing energy. The last topic of this lesson is concerned with evaporation and the factors that are affecting evaporation. We'll try to complete this chapter in 4 live sessions, and from today onwards we'll be having daily lecture on this time itself. इसी टाइम में हम लोग का डेली लेक्चर होने वाला है. 3 बजे हम लोगों का साइंस का लेक्चर होगा, 4 बजे आप लोग का मैथ्स का लेक्चर होगा. इफ देयर इज सम चेंजेस we'll let you know. Okay, so we'll start this lecture. Okay, so the lesson that we are going to learn today is the matter in our surrounding. Is chapter number 1 from your science textbook, and it's a topic of your chemistry, one of the most easiest lesson in your science textbook and in your chemistry section as well. Okay, understanding this lesson is very easy, and understanding of chapter number 2, which is matter around us pure, that lesson's understanding is completely dependent upon the understanding of this chapter. It means that until unless you won't understand chapter number 1, you won't be able to understand chapter number 2. So these two chapters are interrelated to each other. So make sure that you understand this chapter thoroughly. आपको अच्छे तरीके से सब चीज समझ में आना चाहिए, and make sure that if you have any doubt you can ask. Okay, so we'll start with this lesson, and before starting with the actual concept, I would like you students to ask few questions. मैं आप लोग से कुछ पूछता हूँ, देखते हैं आप लोग क्या आंसर देते हैं. Fine. So observe your classroom. Let's imagine our classroom, and we can make a long list of things that are present in our surrounding, right? आप लोग फिलहाल तो अभी क्लासरूम में हो नहीं, so आप लोग बस imagine कर सकते हो कि अगर आप लोग क्लासरूम में बैठे हो, so what are all the different things that are present in front of you or in your surrounding, correct? The list can go long and long and long, right? Okay, so what we can do is we'll talk about few objects over here. Okay, so let's talk about a blackboard, which is most common, right? So a classroom can have a blackboard or a whiteboard. Then we'll be having a chair, desk, light, school bag, students, window, and many other things, right? So the question is, does all these things has mass? क्या सभी चीज के पास मास है क्या? आप ये क्वेश्चन अपने आप से पूछ सकते हो, करेक्ट? बराबर. तो अगर आप किसी भी चीज के बारे में बात करोगे, if you try to pick them, you will feel some weight. That weight is because of the action of mass as well as the gravity, correct? बराबर. So what we can say is all of these things that we have listed right now have mass. Do they have mass or not? Yes or no? Yes, they most probably should be having mass. Yes. Okay, if we talk about the other thing, so yes, if we say the answer is yes, they all have mass. The next question is, do they occupy space, right? So if we talk about students, each and every class has a certain limit of capacity to hold students, right? So you can't simply keep on filling students with keep on a classroom filling with students. आप एक classroom को completely students से भरते नहीं जा सकते हो. There will be a certain time when no more students can get into that class. It means what? There is no enough space to add more students. आप और students को add करने के लिए आपके classroom में क्या रहेगा? Space कम रहेगा, correct? इसका मतलब क्या कि हर चीज के कुछ स्पेस लगता है. अगर स्पेस नहीं है, अगर आपको एम्प्टी स्पेस नहीं मिलता है, तो आप कोई ऑब्जेक्ट को वहां पे रख नहीं सकते. लेट्स टॉक फॉर एन एग्जांपल. इफ यू टेक अ ग्लास ऑफ वाटर, अगर हम लोग एक ग्लास ऑफ वाटर लेते हैं, उसको कंप्लीटली वाटर से भर देते हैं, ओके, up till the brim तक हम लोग उसको भर के रखेंगे. Now if I try to put more water inside that glass, what will happen is the water will be spilled out of the glass. Why? Because the water which I inserted, even though the glass was full, it didn't had any free space to get occupied into it. So what happened? It displaced the water and took its space. उसने क्या किया? उसके जगह को ले लिया, पानी को जगह को ले लिया और उसके जगह पे वो खुद बैठ गया, right? So what we can say is that all of the matter around us requires space. Answer is yes, they do occupy space, right? आगे देखते हैं. Apart from all these things, something else is also present in the classroom which you cannot see, right? So what is that? That is air. Air is something that we cannot see from our naked eyes. हम अपने आँखों से नहीं देख सकते air को, right? So the question is, does air also has mass? Does air also occupy space? Yes, they occupy space also, as well as they has mass also, correct? Anything which is surrounded by us, anything which is present in our surrounding is called as matter. हमारे आसपास में कोई भी चीज present होगी, उन सभी चीजों को हम लोग क्या कहते हैं? Matter. Provided that there are two conditions. Condition number one is what? That it should have mass. Condition number two is what? That it should occupy space. Okay, so these two are conditions that so that anything can be called as matter. I hope so you have understood it well, right? Moving on, आगे देखते हैं. Let us see few examples of matter. Matter की कुछ और examples हम लोग यहाँ पे देखते हैं. Moving on. Okay, so we are done with one slide. आपको अगर कुछ भी doubt लगा, you can put it anytime on the chat box so that I can solve it. Okay. Moving on, आगे देखते हैं. So if we talk about fruits, is fruit a matter? So what are the questions that you need to ask? Does it has mass? Fruit के पास mass होता है क्या? Yes, they have, right?
Yes.
And if we talk about space, do they occupy space? Yes, they occupy space as well, correct? Same goes for other particles as well. अगर हम लोग और दूसरे substance देखेंगे, तो अगर हम लोग sand की बात करते हैं, rose की बात करते हैं, or any flower, and then we talk about water or clouds or stars, all of these occupy space and they have some mass, correct? So all of these, even the animals or any living beings also has mass, right? So all of these are matter. ये सब के सब क्या है? Matter है. So the simplest way to identify whether a given object has matter or not, it is made up of matter or not, is what? That it should occupy space and it should have some mass. It's very simple to understand, right? Let's move ahead. Now the question is, what's matter? Okay, so the answer to this question is anything that has mass and occupies space is called as matter, which you can perceive through your senses. What do you mean by which you can perceive through your senses? आप आपके senses के मदद से उसको जान सकते हो. Either you can see it, or you can smell it, or you can feel it with your skin, or you can like taste it. These are few things or the few ways how you can perceive the mass or the matter around you. Okay, so definition is very simple for matter. Anything which has mass and it occupies space, that will be called as matter. I hope so it is very clear, right? So
Yes,
air is
sir.
also an example. Air is also an example of it, correct? Moving ahead, देखते हैं आगे क्या है. Listen students, I want all of you to mute your microphone. आप लोग answers मत दो, it's just a rhetorical question. अगर आप लोगों को कुछ interaction करना तो हम लोग lecture के end में करेंगे, ठीक है? Moving ahead, see this. So let's prove that air has mass. So if you say, sir, air doesn't has mass, we can't feel air is pushing us somewhere or the other, right? Okay, so we'll have a proof of it. We'll do an experiment to prove that air also has mass. Let's say, example. So let us talk about a football which is not inflated with air. उसके अंदर बिल्कुल भी air नहीं है, fine? Okay. So if we weight a football which is not inflated, it doesn't has any air, its mass seems to be around 1 kilogram, right? Okay. Now what we'll do is we'll compress air inside it. We'll inflate the football with air. Okay. And after inflating the football with air, what we'll do is we'll again try to measure its weight. Now we come to know that its weight is more, 1.5 kilogram. So where did that 0.5 kilogram weight come from? It was from the air that we have inflated. So this is a quite simple experiment from which we can understand that if you inflate air inside a football, the football's mass will be greater. So what was the reason behind that increase in the mass? It was the air which you have inserted it into it, right? Okay. So from this example, we can say that air also has mass. If you don't have football at your home or at your place, or if you are not accessible to football, you can use a balloon to do the same experiment also. The only changes will be the unit of mass will be in grams rather than in kilogram. I hope so you have understood it well, right? Okay. Moving on, let's see what's ahead. See, so the mass of football has increased due to the air. Hence, what we can say is that air has mass and it occupies space also, correct? Moving on, आगे देखते हैं. Let us understand what is mass and volume. हम लोग पहले देखते हैं कि mass और volume में फर्क क्या होता है. There are many students out there who are confused with the terms of mass as well as volume. If we say in simple terms, what is mass? Mass is nothing but the sum of atomic masses of all the atom out of which the object is made from. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल आप एक पेंसिल की बात करते हो, ठीक है, तो अगर एक पेंसिल आप लेते हो, उस पेंसिल के अंदर जितने भी एटम्स है उन सभी के एटम का एटॉमिक मास उसको आप ऐड करोगे तो आपको पेंसिल का क्या मिलेगा? एटॉमिक मास. आपको पेंसिल क्या मिलेगा? मास मिलेगा. फाइन. And if you talk about volume, it is the amount of space a particular object is occupying. ठीक है. सो इन दोनों में डिफरेंसेस होता है. ठीक है. मास इज नथिंग बट द सम ऑफ एटॉमिक masses of all the atom present in a particular object, whereas when you talk about volume, it is the amount of space taken by an object. That is a definition for both of these two terms. Let's see more about it. आगे देखते हैं. मास. मास में क्या होता है? वेट इज इक्वल टू वेट इज in mass plus gravitational force. ठीक है. There is a spelling mistake over here. मैं यहाँ पे करेक्शन कर लेता हूँ ताकि आपको कुछ कंफ्यूजन ना हो. एक मिनट. हाँ. सो यहाँ पे in है, not is. ठीक है. सब लोग बस इस चीज का ध्यान देना. It's in rather than is. Okay. Fine. So यहाँ पे आप लोग इस चीज का ध्यान दे दो बस. एक मिनट. Fine. So it's not is, it's in. So weight is equal to weight in mass plus gravitational force. Let me explain you this in a bit detail. Okay. थोड़ा डिटेल में हम लोग इसी बारे में देखते हैं. Let us say that we have an object, okay, a ball. Let us say we have a ball, okay, and it has mass m. इसके पास mass कितना है? m. It has mass m. So what will happen is we already know about a force acting on us in downward direction. That force is what? It's gravitational force, okay, and that brings an object downwards. It pulls the object downwards. Let us say that the force exerted by gravitation is g, right? So what will happen is this force g will be acting on mass m. So when gravitational force acts on mass, what will happen is you will get an overall result of weight. So अगर ये दोनों साथ में काम करता है तो आपको ओवरऑल क्या मिलेगा? यहाँ पे आप लोगों को अगर आप देखोगे तो आपको क्या मिलेगा? यहाँ पे वेट मिलता है. So weight is nothing but work done by by gravitational force on unit mass. It is work done by gravitational force by unit mass. फाइन. सो हम लोग और आगे देख लेते हैं और समझने की कोशिश करते हैं कि हम लोग को और क्या सीखने को मिलेगा यहाँ पे. लेट्स सी. सो व्हाट विल से इज now we've understand what is weight, right? Weight is what? It is the amount of force acting on an object of mass m, that will be called as your weight. Okay, so this is what you talk about mass. Okay, आगे देखते हैं. So we usually measure weight in grams if it is a small quantity. If it is extremely small, it will be milligrams, and if the quantity is huge, then we'll be using kilogram, and if it is more, then we'll be using tons. Okay, so example, pan weighing 2 kilogram of rice is an example of it. And then a person or a lady who is trying to weight her body, right, अपने पूरे body का weight एक weighing machine या weighing scale के मदद से देख रही है. Right, so these two are example where weight is in action. Weight is what? It is nothing but weight in mass plus gravitational force. Moving ahead, देखते आगे क्या है. So girl standing on a weighing machine is also an example of that. Okay, आगे देखते हैं. So what we can say is, what is mass? It is a physical quantity which expresses the amount of matter in a body. मतलब हमारे body के अंदर कितना matter है, ये इसको express करता है. Okay, आगे देखते हैं. For example, if we talk about a gas cylinder, so or a container which contains some oil. Okay, so amount of gas and oil present in a respective container can be given by another physical quantity called as volume. क्या कहेंगे इसको हम लोग? Volume. So because we'll be learning in the further slide that these two things, which one, ये एक तो आप ये गैस सिलेंडर के बारे में बात कर लो या ये ऑयल के बारे में बात कर लो, ये दोनों फ्लूइड्स है. So fluids are not usually measured in mass, rather they are measured in volumes. ठीक है, तो इनको हम लोग वॉल्यूम्स में हम लोग इनको मेजर करते हैं. आगे देखते हैं. The space inside the container that is occupied by matter is its volume. मतलब क्या, किसी भी कंटेनर के अंदर जितना भी स्पेस है, उस स्पेस जो वो स्पेस जिसके अंदर मैटर जा सकता है, ऑक्यूपाई हो सकता है, that space will be called as volume. So that was all about mass as well as volume. Moving ahead, let's see आगे क्या मिलता है. So the question is everything around us matter? हमारे आसपास में जितनी भी चीजें, सभी चीज matter है क्या? No, there are few exceptions also, right? For example, we'll see over here heat, light, as well as sound. By definition of matter, we can conclude that these three are not matter. How? What is the definition for matter? It is anything which has mass and it occupies space, correct? Heat doesn't has any mass. You cannot measure or weight its weight that how many kilogram of heat are you having, right? So heat के पास कोई भी क्या बोलते हैं, mass नहीं होता है. Neither do they have any volume. उनके पास कोई volume ही नहीं होता है. They can simply be present. It can simply be present over there, right? Same goes for light also. You cannot store light inside a container, है ना. आप ऐसे नहीं बोल सकते कि घर में आप लोगों ने डब्बे के अंदर लाइट को भर दी और किधर और जाके लेके गए, राइट? So they don't like occupy any volume. Neither do they have mass, but telling that is wrong. क्योंकि अगर आप लोग एकदम हायर स्टैंडर्ड्स की पढ़ाई करोगे, अगर आप क्वांटम फिजिक्स की लेवल की पढ़ाई करोगे, तो आपको ये पता चलता है that even light which लाइट जो छोटे छोटे पार्टिकल से बने होते हैं, इट इज लाइक फोटॉन्स. फोटॉन्स के पास भी बहुत छोटा सा मास प्रेजेंट होता है. ओके, बट स्टिल आप लोग 9th स्टैंडर्ड के कंटेक्स्ट के हिसाब से ये मान के चल सकते हो दैट लाइट neither do have mass nor do they occupy volume. Same goes for sound also. Sound also does not have any mass or neither do they occupy any volume. So what are these? The question is, if they are not matter, what are these things? So the answer to this question is they are energy. क्या है? All these are forms of energy. All of these are form of energy. Either you talk about heat or you talk about light or you talk about sound. All of these are forms of energy. They are not matter. So you should keep this in mind, that whenever anyone asks you that a given thing is a matter or not, you need to use the definition of matter, that it should be having mass and it should be occupying space. If either of it is not followed, that particular thing is not matter and it can be something else. Most probably it will be energy. I hope so it is understood by you properly, right? मूविंग अहेड, आगे देखते हैं. Nishant is saying that we can measure heat by degrees Celsius. Beta, that is a measure of temperature. That's a measure of heat. But can you measure it in terms of mass? क्या आप heat को एक वजन कांटे पे रख के ये माप सकते हो कि वो कितना किलोग्राम है? The answer to that question is no. So ultimately what we can say that heat cannot be measured in terms of mass. It can be measured in terms of heat or temperature, but it cannot be measured in terms of mass. When I talk about matter, matter में दो चीज इंपॉर्टेंट होती है. क्या? पहला चीज क्या? एक तो उसमें मास होना चाहिए और दूसरा उसमें क्या होना चाहिए? स्पेस ऑक्यूपाई होना चाहिए. अगर आप हीट में मास को कैलकुलेट कर ही नहीं सकते हो तो उसके पास मास है ही नहीं. I hope so it is done. आपको अच्छी तरीके से समझ में आएगा. Nishant, if you understood it well, just write yes in the comment section. I'm waiting for your response, Nishant. Okay, fine. Thank you. आगे देखते हैं. Moving on, देखते हैं. Now let us talk about matter is made up of tiny particles. कोई भी matter अगर आप देखोगे, they are made up of very tiny particles. The particles which make up matter are atoms or molecules. Okay, so what are these tiny particles? They are nothing but atoms as well as molecule. It depends upon what kind of substance are we talking about. Right. So what we can say is any matter that we talk about, they are made up of very tiny particles, and these tiny particles are nothing but atoms and molecules. Now if you ask sir atoms है या molecules है, so the answer is it depends upon the substance कि हम लोग कौन से substance के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. ठीक है. Most probably they are molecules, but in some cases they are atoms as well. ओके हम लोग एटम्स एंड मॉलिक्यूल्स के बारे में पूरा एक लेसन हम लोग के पास है केमिस्ट्री में. उस लेसन में हम लोग डिटेल में इसके बारे में सीखने वाले हैं. फाइन, आगे देखते हैं. नाउ द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक ऑफ टुडेस लेक्चर इज प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ मैटर. मैटर्स का प्रॉपर्टी के बारे में सीखेंगे. ठीक है, प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ मैटर के बारे में सीखेंगे. Okay, Swarni is asking to explain about molecules. मैंने ऑलरेडी बोला कि एटम्स एंड मॉलिक्यूल्स के मेरे पास कंप्लीट अलग चैप्टर है, उसमें हम लोग उसके बारे में डिटेल में सीखने वाले हैं. ठीक है. So for now we'll be just sticking to the topic right now. So the today's most important topic is properties of matter. Okay, so once we identify any given object is a matter, we come to know that these matter will be having few of its properties, and we'll be understanding these properties right now. Okay, let's see what are these properties. First property is what? That matter is made up of small particles. So we were over here. हम लोग ये देख रहे थे that all of the matter, all of the substance which are made up of matter, they are made up of very small particles. बहुत छोटे छोटे particles से बने हुए हैं. ठीक है. So they are made up of very small particles, and we'll be having some experiment to conclude that also. Okay. So let us take an beaker. We'll take a beaker with some water in it. Okay. We'll take 100 ml of water, and we'll take 100 ml of water, and inside that we'll dissolve few crystals of potassium permanganate. Okay. The formula for potassium permanganate is KMnO4. It is KMnO4. Let me write it for you so that आप लोग को अच्छी तरीके से याद रहे. KMnO4. Okay. So 4 ऐसे नीचे लिखा जाता है, आप लोग बस इसको थोड़ा समझ के रख लो. ठीक है. So it is KMnO4. Okay. So आप लोगों ने पोटेशियम परमैंगनेट के कुछ क्रिस्टल्स को पानी के अंदर भी डिसॉल्व कर दिया. फाइन. Now once you dissolve it inside the water, what will happen is the color of the water will change into purplish color or violet color. Okay, that is due to the presence of potassium permanganate crystals. Okay, वो उसका कलर को क्या कर देता है? चेंज कर देगा. फाइन. आगे देखते हैं अभी हम लोग एक्सपेरिमेंट में क्या मिलता है. So now just wait a while. So now if you insert that and you try to mix it properly, okay, अगर आप उसको अच्छी तरीके से mix करोगे, what will happen is the color of the solution will turn into violet. Okay, and it will be like a prominent violet color. थोड़ा ऐसा मतलब आपको एकदम अच्छी तरीके से दिखेगा कि हाँ ये वॉयलेट है, राइट? ओके, आगे देखते हैं। अ डीप पर्पल कलर सोल्यूशन इज ऑब्टेन। ओके, नाउ व्हाट वी विल डू इज, आप एक और अभी इसमें से, इस सोल्यूशन में से 10 ml सोल्यूशन लेना है एंड मिक्स इट विद 90 ml ऑफ वाटर प्रेजेंट इन सेकंड बीकर ऑफ डाइल्यूट टू डाइल्यूट इट। हम उसको क्या करेंगे, डाइल्यूट कर देंगे, ठीक है? आगे देखते हैं क्या होता है। So what we'll do is we'll take 10 ml of this solution, हम लोग इस solution के 10 ml को ले लेते हैं एंड 10 ml को लेने के बाद हम लोग एक और नया बीकर ले लेंगे एंड इनसाइड दैट बीकर विल बी हैविंग 90 ml ऑफ वाटर ऑलरेडी इंसर्टेड इन इट, ऑलरेडी उसके अंदर डाला हुआ रहेगा, ठीक है? सो यहाँ पर हमने एक बीकर ले लिया, उसको हम लोगों ने एक टेस्ट ट्यूब के अंदर डाल दिया 10 ml of water, then we'll take 90 ml of water and then we'll insert this 10 ml of solution inside 90 ml of water, हम लोग इसके अंदर उसको डाल देंगे, okay? Now if you observe this, what you will notice is that despite that both of these beakers will be colored, दोनों जो beakers हम लोग के पास यहाँ पे है वो कैसे हैं, colored है। यहाँ इसमें भी कलर है, इसमें भी कलर है। अगर आप अगर आपको ध्यान रहा होगा तो हम लोगों ने कुछ क्रिस्टल्स डाले थे, राइट? सो वो क्रिस्टल्स यहाँ पे मिक्स होने के बाद अब क्या हो गया कि हम लोगों ने जब इसमें से थोड़ा सोल्यूशन इसके अंदर डाला तो इसके अंदर भी आया है कलर। इसका मतलब क्या कि वो क्रिस्टल्स के अंदर भी छोटे छोटे पार्टिकल्स थे एंड दैट स्मॉल पार्टिकल्स टेंड टू गेट डिसॉल्व इन द सेकंड बीकर आल्सो। सेकंड बीकर में भी वो डिसॉल्व हुआ, समझ में आ रहा है? अगर वो सिर्फ क्रिस्टल के साइज का ही होता तो कलर उसमें ही जाता है जिसमें क्रिस्टल होता है, बराबर? बट एक्चुअल में क्या हुआ है, क्रिस्टल कंप्लीटली डिसॉल्व हो गया और वो पूरे वाटर के अंदर इक्वली डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो गया। इस चीज की वजह से हम लोग ये क्या बोल सकते हैं कि वो जो छोटे छोटे क्रिस्टल्स है वो छोटे छोटे क्रिस्टल्स भी बहुत छोटे छोटे पार्टिकल से बने हुए हैं। आई होप सो यू अंडरस्टूड इट वेल, ओके? नाउ व्हाट वी कैन डू इज वी कैन कीप ऑन रिपीटिंग दिस एक्सपेरिमेंट, ओके? सो कंटिन्यू टू डाइल्यूट इट फॉर अदर बीकर्स। हम लोग सेम प्रोसेस करेंगे अगेन। इसमें से अभी ये डाइल्यूट किया हुआ सोल्यूशन इसमें से 10 ml में निकाल दूंगा और वापस एक दूसरा बीकर लूंगा जिसके अंदर 90 ml वाटर है और उसके अंदर उसको पोर कर दूंगा। तो मैं जैसे इसके अंदर पोर कर देता हूँ तो मुझे दिखता है कि अगेन मुझे ऐसा सोल्यूशन मिला है जिसके अंदर पर्पल कलर है बट ये पहले वाले से थोड़ा लाइटर है। इसका मतलब क्या, इसके अंदर भी पोटेशियम परमैंगनेट के कुछ मॉलिक्यूल्स है बट द अमाउंट और द कंसंट्रेशन ऑफ पोटेशियम परमैंगनेट इन दिस बीकर, द थर्ड बीकर, विल बी रिलेटिवली लेस एज कंपेयर्ड टू द प्रीवियस वन। उससे पहले वाले से कम रहेगा, right? But still it is present. We can still continue this experiment. We'll again take 10 ml of water or solution from this beaker and we'll insert it inside another beaker which contains 90 ml of water. What we'll get is we'll get another solution which is more lighter in color, right? It means that the concentration of potassium permanganate in the last beaker is the least, where the concentration of potassium permanganate is the highest in the first beaker. So if you see over here, it keeps on diluting, but the presence of potassium permanganate is still there, right? So from this experiment, what we can say is, despite that the potassium permanganate crystals were very small, they are still made up of even smaller molecules, and these molecules tend to dissolve in each of these beaker, but with different concentration, and that is the reason the color of the solution we obtained in all of these beaker is slightly lighter than the previous one. I hope so you've understood it well, right? Okay, आगे देखते हैं. Now let's see. So what we can say is two or three tiny crystal potassium permanganate can impart color to a large volume of water. Okay, मतलब 2-3 क्रिस्टल से भी हम लोग बहुत सारे पानी को क्या कर सकते हैं, कलर कर सकते हैं. Let's see, आगे देखते हैं. This is because each potassium permanganate crystal is made up of millions of small particles. I'm not talking about 10 to 15, but there are millions of small particles which keeps on spreading throughout the solution. Okay, and it keeps on diluting the solution as well. आगे देखते हैं. Now we have understood the first characteristic property, that particles are made up of very small particles. The second property is that the particles of matter have spaces between them. Daksh Zubi is asking that can we do the same activity with other solution? Yes, you can absolutely do. You can also repeat this. You can also undertake this experiment using ink. आप पेन की इंक को भी यूज कर सकते हो एक्सपेरिमेंट को यूज करने के लिए। आप एक बीकर लो, उसके अंदर 1 ड्रॉप ऑफ इंक डाल दो, तो आप कलर देखोगे, और फिर बाद में आप उसको डायल्यूट करते जाओगे, तो जितना जितना डायल्यूट करते जाओगे उतना कलर फेड होते जाएगा। आई होप सो इट्स द आंसर इज डन टू द क्वेश्चन। अगर आपको समझ में आए तो आप ओके बोल दो। ओके फाइन, कंटिन्यू करते हैं। द सेकेंड प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ पार्टिकल्स दैट वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड इज पार्टिकल्स आर ऑलवेज हैव पार्टिकल्स ऑलवेज हैव स्पेसेस बिटवीन देम। उनके पास हमेशा बीच में क्या होते हैं, स्पेसेस होता है। लेट्स टेक एन एग्जांपल, हम लोग एग्जांपल लेते हैं, देन विल ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड अबाउट इट। ओके, एक एग्जांपल की मदद से हम उसको सीखेंगे, समझेंगे। Let's take a beaker and we'll take 100 ml of water inside it, okay? And then we'll measure the level of water. हम क्या करेंगे, यहाँ पे मार्क करके रख देते हैं, ठीक है? तो हम लोग बोलेंगे कि 100 ml of water rose up to this point. इस point तक वो ऊपर आया, ठीक है? It rose up to this point, fine? Now what we'll do is we'll add some sugar inside it. हम लोग 50 ग्राम of sugar लेंगे और उसके पानी के अंदर mix कर देंगे. We'll dissolve it inside the water. So once we insert it inside the water, what will happen is, see, we'll try to stir it well, and once the sugar is completely dissolved, we'll again see that after dissolving, even after we are dissolving and stirring it well, हम लोग अच्छी तरीके से dissolve कर रहे हैं और stir कर रहे हैं, क्या हो रहा है पता है, पानी का जो level है वो बिल्कुल भी rise नहीं हुआ है. The level of the water did not rose a bit. If you see over here, so the mark is still over there itself, right? You will notice that the level of water is the same even after the sugar has been dissolved. So the question is, अगर sugar के पास mass है, अगर उसके पास volume है और उसको कुछ volume लगता है, तो पानी के अंदर डालने के बाद भी उसको volume कहाँ से मिला? Where did it get the volume from? उसको space कहाँ से मिला? उसने कौन सी space occupy किया? The answer to this question is what? That even the water seemed to be filled up to that point. It had many spaces between the molecules of water. So that spaces between the molecule of water was occupied by sugar molecules. Let's see over here. See, the question is, so where does the sugar go? Answer is, sugar particle get into the space between the particle of water. Particle of water के बीच में जो spaces है, उन spaces के बीच में sugar क्या हो जाता है, उस spaces को occupy कर लेता है. आगे देखते हैं हम लोग. Particles of matter are constantly moving. Okay, the movement of particle is due to an energy which is called as kinetic energy. The more the kinetic energy of a substance, the faster the substance or the faster the particles will be moving, and the lesser the kinetic energy of a particular substance, the lesser will be the movement of that particle. Kinetic energy also affects or changes the temperature of a substance, where if the kinetic energy is more, the substance is hot. If the kinetic energy is less, the substance is colder. Let's see. So if we talk about, if you take a beaker and if you like insert potassium permanganate crystals inside it, या अगर आप लोग iodine के iodine tincture को भी अगर उसके अंदर mix कर देते हो, what will happen is you will see that these colorful particles will keep on moving irrespective to whether you are moving it or not. अगर आप उसको stir कर रहे हो या नहीं भी कर रहे हो, दोनों भी केसेस में क्या होगा, आपको मूवमेंट दिखेगा ही, करेक्ट? इसका मतलब क्या हो जाता है, that the particles keep on moving continuously. Okay, so it might be very slow, it might be very fast, it depends upon the amount of kinetic energy and the amount of heat energy it has. Okay, let's say potassium permanganate particles spread through the water particle and mix up on their own without stirring because they are moving or they are in motion, right? What we can say is, अगर हम लोग stir नहीं भी करेंगे, एक solution के अंदर अगर हम लोग पोटेशियम परमैंगनेट को डालते हैं तो वो अपने आप equally spread हो जाता है. इसका reason क्या है? It is because it is continuously moving. Okay, let us see that how did we come to know about this. Okay, this movement of different particles among each other on their own so that they can be mixed uniformly is called diffusion. इस movement को हम लोग क्या कहते हैं? Diffusion. And believe me, diffusion is very important when you will be learning biology lessons like cells, as well as tissues. जब आप cells या tissues पढ़ोगे उस वक्त में diffusion ये word का meaning आपको बहुत अच्छी तरीके से पता होना चाहिए, जो आप लोगों को केमिस्ट्री में यहाँ पे सीखने को मिल रहा है, राइट? ओके, सो डिफ्यूजन इज नथिंग बट मूवमेंट ऑफ डिफरेंट पार्टिकल्स इन वन अनदर बाय इट्स ओन, ओके, ताकि वो यूनिफॉर्मली मिक्स हो सके। इसको हम लोग क्या कहेंगे? डिफ्यूजन कहेंगे। आई होप सो इट इज वेरी मच क्लियर, राइट? लेट्स सी, आगे देखते हैं। नाउ पार्टिकल्स ऑफ मैटर आर कांस्टेंट मूविंग, ये इसमें हम लोग देखते थे। फॉर एग्जांपल अभी यहाँ पे हम लोग के पास कुछ अगरबत्ती है, राइट? अगर हम लोगों ने रूम के एक कॉर्नर में अगरबत्ती को जलाए, इफ यू बर्न एन इंसेंस स्टिक in a one corner of a room, what will happen is the entire room will be full of fragrance of it, right? उसके पूरे रूम में उसकी खुशबू आएगी। क्यों ऐसा होता है? क्योंकि इंसेंस स्टिक्स में से जो भी स्मेल निकलता है, स्मेल की जो पार्टिकल्स निकलते हैं वो पूरे एयर में इक्वली डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो जाता है। एंड क्या हम लोग एयर को स्टर करते हैं? क्या नहीं करते हैं, बट इट 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 हैपेंस ऑटोमेटिकली, ये अपने आप हो जाता है, राइट? That is why we can say that the particles of a burning incense stick is also continuously moving. See, why are we not able to smell an unlit incense stick from a distance? And when we lit or burn an incense stick in one corner of a room, its fragrance spread in the whole room quickly. मतलब क्या, अगर आप उसको बर्न करोगे तो आपको स्मेल आएगी, बर्न नहीं करोगे तो स्मेल नहीं आएगी। दैट व्हाट इज द रीजन बिहाइंड दैट? इफ यू डोंट बर्न इट, इट विल बी इन सॉलिड स्टेट, एंड सॉलिड स्टेट में जो भी मैटर होता है दे डोंट मूव टू मच अराउंड वेरी मच इजीली, राइट? जब जैसे आप उसको बर्न करते हो तो उसके वेपर्स निकलना शुरू होते हैं, और ये वेपर्स क्योंकि गैसेस स्टेट में होते हैं, गैसेस स्टेट टेंड टू मूव हियर एंड देयर freely without any much problem, and that is why it occupies much more space as compared to solid, and that is why we can smell the fragrance of an burned incense stick rather than an unlit stick. I hope so it is done, आपको अच्छी तरीके से समझ में आया होगा। Still, if you have any doubt, you can post it in the chat box. I'll clear it right away. Moving ahead, देखते हैं आगे क्या सीखने को मिलता है। The particles of gases produced move rapidly in all direction, mixed with the moving particles of air in the room. Okay, आगे देखते हैं। When lit, their kinetic energy increases. I have already explained this to you that if you increase the temperature of any object, you are increasing its kinetic energy, and by increasing kinetic energy, you are increasing the rate of movement of that particular object. Okay, so that is why it gets diffused into the surrounding. आगे देखते हैं। What is kinetic energy? The question is, what is kinetic energy? Kinetic energy is a form of energy which is obtained by an object by virtue of its movement. किसी ऑब्जेक्ट के मूवमेंट की वजह से उसके अंदर जो एनर्जी होती है, उस एनर्जी को हम लोग क्या कहेंगे? काइनेटिक एनर्जी कहेंगे। We have a separate lesson in our textbook called as work and energy, और उस लेसन के अंदर हम लोग डिटेल में काइनेटिक एनर्जी के बारे में सीखने वाले हैं। For now you can simply learn the definition that kinetic energy is a form of energy which is obtained by an object by virtue of its motion. See, the kinetic energy of an object is energy which is possessed due to its motion. Right? आगे देखते हैं। Next we'll talk about Brownian motion. The motion or the movement that we have talked about earlier, that particles are continuously moving from each another, that can be explained by Brownian motion. Okay, so the best evidence for existence and movement of particle in liquid can be explained by Brownian motion. Okay, this theory was put forward by Robert Brown in the year 1827. Okay, and this motion was named after his name, Brown. Okay, आगे देखते हैं। He suspended extremely small pollen grain in water. बहुत छोटे pollen grain को उन्होंने water के अंदर water के ऊपर suspend कर दिए थे, ठीक है? Now, if you see the microscopic image of the pollen grain suspended to it, हम यहाँ पे देखेंगे तो ये pollen grain का, आप देखोगे तो ये pollen grain का initial position था, ठीक है? अगर उसको कंडीशन में देखेंगे तो ये जो pollen grain है randomly ऐसा आगे आगे जाके move हुआ, फिर नीचे आया, फिर ऊपर गया, फिर नीचे आया, फिर ऐसा है। It was moving randomly. Why was it moving randomly? Because the particle in which it was suspended was continuously moving. और इस चीज को जैसे ऐसा मूव करते 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 वो यहाँ पे आया। So this was the initial position of the pollen grain. This is the final position of the pollen grain, and this arrow mark is the path through which it came from, right? So with this experiment, Robert Brown came up with the conclusion that all the particles are continuously moving from its place. Okay, and later on, this motion came to be known as Brownian motion. Under microscope, he found that the pollen grains were moving rapidly throughout the water in a zigzag way. आगे देखते हैं. So ये zigzag movement था जिस वजह से pollen grain move हो रहा है. तो यहाँ पे जो red color की जो हमारे पास balls है, those are representing water molecules, and blue color का जो ball है, that is representing the pollen grain. So if you see, the disturbance in the water molecule is like allowing movement of the pollen grain. आगे देखते हैं. The pollen grain move on the surface of water because they are constantly being hit by the fast moving water particles. Moving on, आगे देखते हैं. The same can be observed when you go inside a completely dark room and you have a small or very fine beam of light. जब एक छोटी सी beam of light एक dark room में से enter होती है, तो आप देख सकते हो कि आपको dust particles दिखेंगे, और ये dust particles भी continuously move हो रहे होंगे. They are not constant or they are not at rest, right? So when a beam of sunlight enters a room, we can observe tiny dust particles suspended in air, which are moving rapidly in the very haphazard way. Haphazard मतलब बहुत zigzag तरीके से काफी तेजी से move होते हैं, right? आगे देखते हैं. They move here and there because they are constantly hit by the fast moving particles of air. So the zigzag movement of small particles suspended in a liquid or gas is called as Brownian motion. This is the definition for Brownian motion. I hope so you have understood Brownian motion also very well. आगे देखते हैं. Brownian motion increases on increasing the temperature. ये मैंने आपको already बता चुका हूँ. आगे देखते हैं. Diffusion and Brownian motion are two processes which provide the best evidence for motion of particle in matter. है ना, ये दो ऐसे examples है, best examples है जिससे हम लोग ये proof दे सकते हैं that the motion, the particles are continuously in motion irrespective to what they are, right? आगे देखते हैं. So if we talk about, let's talk about another example. So if we take a gas jar containing red brown bromine vapor, इसके अंदर क्या है? Bromine vapors है, ठीक है? इसके अंदर क्या present है? Bromine vapors present है. ठीक है, तो ये ब्रोमीन वेपर्स के अलावा अगर हम देखते हैं तो हम लोग एक और गैस जार लेते हैं which is quite empty, but even if it seems empty, it has air, atmospheric air इसमें present है, right? Invert another gas jar containing air over it. ठीक है, तो इसके अंदर हम लोग के पास atmospheric air है, हम ये गैस जार को इसके अंदर इसके ऊपर रख देंगे. ठीक है, so now as soon as you keep it over it, ठीक है, what will happen is that the red brown vapor of bromine spread throughout the upper gas container. मतलब अब क्या हो जाएगा, जो इसके अंदर था, इसके अंदर जो ब्रोमीन गैस, जो ब्रोमीन वेपर था, वो पूरा इक्वली डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो जाएगा. क्यों? इसको यहाँ से ये गैस जार से ऊपर जाने के लिए किसको फोर्स दिया? दैट वाज बिकॉज ऑफ ब्राउनियन मोशन. इट वाज बिकॉज कंटिन्यूअसली मूविंग इन रैंडम मूवमेंट, और ये रैंडम मूवमेंट की वजह से जैसे उसको एक्स्ट्रा स्पेस मिला तो एंटायर स्पेस को ऑक्यूपाई कर चुका. आपको यहाँ पे सिर्फ मूवमेंट किसका दिख रहा है? ब्राउन वेपर ऑफ ब्रोमीन का दिख रहा है. बट सेम वे ऊपर से जो एटमॉस्फेरिक एयर था वो भी नीचे की तरफ आया, बट वो क्योंकि कलरलेस है इस वजह से हम लोग को उसका मूवमेंट दिखा नहीं. सो बोथ वेज ब्रोमीन went from bottom to top as well as air went from top to bottom. This way there was equal distribution of both air as well as bromine throughout these two gas jars. यहाँ पे देखेंगे, the upper gas jar which contains colorless air in it also turns red brown, and this mixture is due to diffusion of bromine vapor into it. Then air from the upper gas jar also diffuse into lower gas jar through, though we cannot see it. आगे देखते हैं. So ये चीज हम लोग क्या समझ में आया कि diffusion क्या होता है? Diffusion is what? It is moving of particles from where the concentration is more to a place where concentration is less. It's as simple as it is. Diffusion is based on the motion of its particle. Diffusion is fastest in gas and slow is in solid. Diffusion सबसे ज़्यादा fast किसमें होगा? Solid में. और सबसे slow किसमें होता है? Solids में होता है. The rate of diffusion increases on increasing the temperature of the diffusing substance. अगर आप temperature को बढ़ा दोगे तो kinetic energy बढ़ जाएगी. Kinetic energy बढ़ेगी तो movement बढ़ेगा. Movement बढ़ेगा तो diffusion भी बढ़ जाएगा. So that is why if you heat it up, अगर आप उसको गर्म कर देते हो तो उस चीज की वजह से भी क्या हो सकता है, आपका जो सब्सटेंसेस है वो सब्सटेंस क्या हो सकता है, वो जल्दी डिफ्यूज हो सकता है। आगे देखते हैं, ठीक है, लेट्स सी मोर। So intermixing of particle of two different type of matter on their own is known as diffusion. We've already went through this topic. Okay, आगे देखते हैं नेक्स्ट। डिफ्यूजन में अगर आप आपकी मॉम अगर खाना बनाती है तो खाने की जो अच्छी खुशबू होती है उसके पार्टिकल्स भी हमारे पूरे रूम में क्या हो जाती है, डिफ्यूज हो जाते हैं। दे गेट आल्सो डिफ्यूज एंड दैट इज व्हाई वी कैन स्मेल द फूड दैट इज बीइंग कुक्ड एट योर होम वेरी नाइसली। फाइन, आगे देखते हैं। The oxygen gas present in air diffuse into water and dissolve in it. The aquatic animal can breathe under water. तो इसकी मदद से भी क्या होता है, इसकी मदद से भी क्या होता है, जो ऑक्सीजन है वो ऑक्सीजन भी डिफ्यूज रहता है किसी अंदर, पानी के अंदर, और पानी के अंदर का जो डिफ्यूज ऑक्सीजन है, दैट डिफ्यूज ऑक्सीजन कैन बी यूज्ड बाय डिफरेंट एक्वाटिक एनिमल्स प्रेजेंट इनसाइड देम। ओके, आगे देखते हैं। So spreading of ink is also an example of diffusion. The smell of perfume is also an example of diffusion. Then we have for just wait a minute. Then so diffusion in solid is a very slow process. Okay, that's all. So one more property that was left yesterday to learn was that particles of matter attract each other. Okay, we've already learned three different characteristic properties of matter. The fourth one that we want to learn about is particles of matter attract each other. Okay, now you'll be learning about this in very great detail, and you have come in one entire lesson dedicated to this property. Okay, uh, that property is that lesson is gravitation in your textbook. Okay, so in gravitation lesson you will be learning that uh, each and every particle in this universe will tend to attract each and other particles of the universe, right? For example, right now also, even if I am sitting at my home, I'm still attracting moon towards myself, and the moon is trying to attract is trying to attract me towards itself, right? So this is how what we can say, we can say that irrespective of the position of an object, every object of this universe, I'm not only talking about only the solar system, but every object of this universe is trying to attract every other object of this universe, right? So to understand is in the most fundamental manner, what we'll say is we'll not talk about celestial objects, rather what we'll do is we'll talk about particles. Okay, particles of matter. Okay, and we'll try to see for a few examples how we can understand that particles of matter attract each other. Okay, so we'll be having some examples right now. We'll see. So what we can do is we can take a piece of chalk, an iron nail, and a cube of ice. Okay, and now what we can do is we should hammer it. We should hit it with a hammer. Okay, so we have chalk, we have iron nail, and we have ice cube. Now if you imagine this experiment, okay, if you do thought experiment, whatever I'm telling to you, if I take hammer and simply hit on the chalk, what will happen is the chalk will turn into fine pieces of powder. Okay, and it will be broken down very easily. Even if you don't apply much force, still the chalk will break down. Okay, now talking about the ice cube, if we talk about the ice cube, if you hit the hammer quite with a quite more force, what will happen is that the ice cube will break down into pieces again, but still the pieces will not be as fine as the pieces of chalk when it was broken, right? मतलब इतने छोटे टुकड़े आइस क्यूब के नहीं होने वाले हैं जितने चौक के हुए थे, करेक्ट, बराबर? And still if you use most in your entire force, आप आपके पूरे force use करोगे to hit a hammer, to hit an iron nail with a hammer, what will happen is, will the iron nail be broken down into small pieces? The answer is no, right? Why? Because iron is comparatively very hard, correct? So even though all of these three are solid in state, what is happening over here is that the particles of chalk are not strongly attracted to each other, and since they are not strongly attracted to each other, what will happen is as soon as I apply a very small amount of force only, what will happen? They will separate apart. They will be moving apart from each other, and ultimately what we'll be having is we'll be having small and fine pieces of chalk. On the other hand, if we talk about ice cube has more force of traction between particles as compared to chalk, and therefore to move them apart, a higher amount of force is to be applied. And even if you put a higher, if even if you apply a higher amount of force, what will happen is they will not move very far apart from each other. Why? Because they have strong force of attraction, correct? So that is why we'll not be having very fine pieces or fine powdered ice cube after hitting it with a hammer. And when we talk about iron, the particles of iron are very strongly attracted to each other. And because they are very strongly attracted to each other, even if you apply a huge amount of force to break them using a hammer, what will happen is the iron will not break down and not break down into fine pieces, nor it will be breaking down into huge lumps. So this is how we can say that the particles of different objects tend to have different attractive forces, but there is force of attraction. I hope it is done. आपको अच्छी तरीके से समझ में आया.